Chief Meteorologist Joel Barnes just with an update here. We do have a couple of tornado warnings that do include some counties now here into West Tennessee. You're watching us from Dyersburg. It looks like that rotation is going to miss us, or you guys just to the northwest, but you've got some really strong winds coming, and we've got a brand new tornado warning now, which does include extreme western Haywood County. So let's start with our cells that are still in our viewing area right now. That one's moving out. Martin, we got some pictures of what looked to be a close to golf ball size hail came down. This storm currently is not severe. Thunderstorm warned near Mason Hall and Trimble, but we're watching it. This cell up near, this is the one that produced that large hail in Martin. It's got a lot of broad rotation, but not enough for a tornado warning. That's moving out. Now, Dyersburg, you are under a tornado warning, but I think this storm's probably going to be closer to areas northwest of you than into Dyersburg itself. So it looks like there's definitely some strong winds on the way. The center of rotation is right here. So it looks like this will probably be a bigger problem for Ridgely as it comes by. Definitely rotating, but not overly tight. But so it looks like that center of rotation is even out of the original tornado warning polygon there. So here's the tornado warning, but the rotation has now spun well up to the north, it looks like, along 55. But this is very strong winds. Anywhere along this line, we could have kinks and tornadoes spinning up. That includes this one. This is our brand new tornado warning that we have. That is out now until 8:45. That does include the Stanton area. It does include areas into western Haywood County. The storm itself has not crossed the Mississippi River yet, but you notice it's very close. So this storm is going to cross the Mississippi River here in about the next 10 minutes. But we've got multiple tornado warnings. None of them currently are confirmed. These are all radar indicated warnings compared to earlier, so it looks like there's still some supercells trying to make their way in before they get caught up with the line tonight. So we'll see how long these last and continue to spin as they move into West Tennessee, but we need to watch things very closely tonight as we still do have multiple rotating storms that are on the way. It looks like they're predominantly going to ride north of the interstate over the next few hours here tonight, but there's development also all the way down here. So these are all expected to come in. This is later tonight, coming through Jackson, probably close to around 11 o'clock. I think most of the stuff before 10 stays just northwest of us, but it's going to be really close. These supercells are going to ride real close to the interstate, going to be awful close to Madison and Gibson counties. We do have a couple of confirmed tornadoes still up to the north, but for us, we've got a line of rotating storms still that are on the way. So we're going to continue to watch these storms to come through. Dyersburg, I think you're going to be okay. I think that one stays just northwest of you. But as these storms do get closer and begin to cross the Mississippi River, that's when we'll drop back and do our full live coverage here at WBBJ. And we're probably going to be live for about 3-4 hours tonight, I think, probably by 8:30. And then we're probably going to skip through the newscast with tornado warning coverage. Hopefully we don't, and it just becomes a straight line wind event. But even if it does, these type of winds that are going to come through are going to need our updates online as well as on TV. So this line, looking about midnight, coming through Jackson, and then spreading down to the southeast, and then it's going to stall out and become more of that flood concern. Jordan, let's see what you have for timing of some of those tornado warnings, if you got what you got pulled up.
All right, I've got timings on both the tornado warning that includes Dyer County, Lake County, and Obion County. I also have a track on the one that includes portions of Haywood County. But here's a look at what we've got going on right now in Dyer County. The main circulation will impact Booth's Point, which is right on the Mississippi River, at 8:05. Bogota at 8:15. Lane at 8:21. Cloverdale in Obion County at 8:23. Obion in Obion County at 8:32. Moffett at 8:40. Reeves at 8:43. Terrell at 8:50. McConnell 8:56. And Ruthville in northern Weakley County at 9 o'clock. Now, for the Haywood County storm, we have Cuba at 8:08, Drummond's at 8:16, Munford at 8:21, Atoka and Brighton Atoka at 8:23, Brighton at 8:27. We also have Brownsville at 8:56, so about just under an hour. Brownsville. You'll need to keep an eye on this storm, and we're going to be sticking with you.
All right, so we're going to stay around. Let's kind of rack things up here from the top. So we're going to continue to cover these storms as these tornadic storms get a little closer. If you're looking west of Jackson, you can catch quite a lightning show. We've been watching it on our webcam here. You notice that lightning just lining up along the horizon. There's a, ooh, look at that strike. Those are what's coming our way. So we're going to get pretty active here. It's warm, it's humid. Our atmosphere is still charged up for significant severe weather. They've kept us still under the high risk tonight. So far, the Storm Prediction Center hasn't downgraded the storm event, so we still have a chance for tornadoes, large hail, gusty winds, and flooding tonight. And that flood threat is just going to get started tonight. This may end up being, again, a historic type flooding event, according to the National Weather Service. We have a flood watch out as well. And here's a look at those tornado watches, tornado warnings, and severe thunderstorm warnings. So let's start up north here. Martin, Union City. It looks like we've got some storms still. Martin, that's where you had that hail come through earlier. It looks like that storm now is moving on out. This one coming into Union City here. Troy, Obion right now is not a severe thunderstorm warning. And the rotation appears to be minimal. The storm that did move through Martin is trying to spin, but that's moving to the north of us. A real quick look at the rotation for you folks in Union City, just to see if that storm is doing much as it's coming through. Looks pretty clear. So Union City, you're good for now, but you may not be in a little bit, because we've got a big line of thunderstorms on the way, including this tornado warning that we're watching, which again still does include Dyersburg in that tornado warning, but Jordan and I think the center of rotation for that is going to miss Dyersburg, but there are some really strong winds still on the way. So here's that area of rotation. It's kind of been sitting here right along the river west of Ridgely. No confirmation of a tornado on the ground, but still some rotation. But you notice the general rotation is moving along the northern line of this polygon, which will keep it out of Dyersburg. So you're good in Dyersburg for now, but look at this. This is strong winds, maybe 70-mile-an-hour winds on the way coming into Dyersburg. That's probably about 10 minutes out. So you're looking at around 8:15 where those winds are really going to start to kick up into Dyersburg. Here's our storm of the moment right now that's close to West Tennessee. Bright colors. See, this is when we were watching those little spin-ups that we're trying to get going in Madison County earlier. They didn't look like this. The colors weren't this bright. They were broader and less energy, I think, was with those storms. But you notice an inflow notch here crossing the Mississippi River right now, heading into the Drummond area. Could be a problem for Covington, Stanton into Haywood County. So 3 tornado warnings. This first one, Dyersburg, looks like it does include areas a little bit further north of that. We'll watch that for getting close to Union City. And we've got our 2 tornado warnings now down to the south. We've got a brand new severe thunderstorm warning. Severe thunderstorm, not tornado warning. That's for that line that's coming into Dyersburg right now. Those really strong winds that I just talked about, that's going to move into Gibson County here, probably around 8:30, moving into Gibson County. By 8:45, maybe coming in close to around Humboldt, maybe a little earlier than that in Trenton. Right now, those are strong winds, but that doesn't mean we won't get a spin up along this line, okay? Anywhere along this line tonight, although the hurricane force winds seem the most likely threat with this line, there will be spin ups. We're already seeing the 3 different tornado warnings that are out with this line, and it extends all the way down even into Pine Bluff, Arkansas. So this all has to come in tonight. You notice the multiple tornado warnings still piling up. At least they're red here. These are confirmed ones, and we had that tornado emergency. A couple of towns took direct hits into Arkansas earlier. For us, though, we haven't had any direct hits. Hopefully we don't, but we are all going to get a direct hit with thunderstorms tonight, especially along and north of the interstate. They're going to be gusty winds, but again, a potential for a spin up. So that line extending tonight all the way to the north of us and all the way down to the south. Real quick look at the timing, and then we'll get back to Jordan for a quick update on those tornado warnings. Jordan, up to the north. If you can put a track on both of those again, of people that are just joining us now. So we'll do that here on Max 2. And I'll take a look at Union City and places in Obion County coming up.
All right, folks, we'll get you a track on these storms. First, the tornado warning for Dyer and Lake and Obion counties. We'll put a track on that circulation. Let me change the speed real quick. However, they're moving at 55 miles per hour. So we'll get that drawn up, 55 miles per hour northeast. We'll draw that out to 45 minutes because they are scaling back the time on warnings now that things have started to slow down a little bit. Puts it at Big Boy Junction in 1 minute, Jenkinsville at 8:15, Nauvoo at 8:17, Meacham at 8:22, Maxey at 8:24, Locust Grove at 8:29, Trimble 8:33, the community of Crockett at 8:45, and Mount Pelia on the Obion-Weakley County line at 8:50. For our other tornado warning down on the Mississippi River right now for Haywood, Lauderdale, and Tipton counties, that one's going to be in Drummond's at 8:16, Munford at 8:21, Atoka 8:23, Brighton 8:27, Tabernacle at 8:37, Gift at 8:38, Cotton Lake at 8:42, Brownsville at 8:56, and Belle Eagle at 9:01. Now, these storms on the southern side of the line are moving at 60, so just a little bit faster than the northern edge. But this tornado warning actually was just not upgraded in terms of tornado severity, has been upgraded to potentially radar-indicated baseball-sized hail. So if you're in eastern Tipton County, you've got the time now. Move your cars to garages, carports if you've got them.
Yeah, obviously you don't want to go outside if it's raining and lightning to do that, but if you are east of that line still tonight and you're safe to do so, that would definitely be a good idea, as we've seen many large hail makers so far this afternoon. All right, we'll get back up here at the top of the radar, and we'll show you with what we're looking at here. We've got the three tornado warnings right now. It looks like one for Covington. The two that are the big concern for us, I think, are the one into Covington and the one that north of Dyersburg. It may end up being pretty close to Union City. So as this line begins to move on in tonight, we want it to look linear. We want it to look like that. We don't want these individual cells. Look at all those supercells that were out in front of the line. Each one of those individual ones was rotating. They're starting to become more linear, forming into a line, but there's still so much rotation that even a line of storms tonight is going to produce some tornadoes. They may not be EF 3, 4, or 5s anymore, but they're going to be some tornadoes, I still think, along this line as it comes through. Union City, you're picking up some rain right now. Your concern is going to be the rotation that is close to Ridgely currently. So it's lost a lot of its rotation, which is good over the last couple of scans, but there is a rotating section which is going to get close to you here in about 30-45 minutes. Here's our tornado warning down to the south. You notice the lightning is just a ridiculous number, off the charts. This is straight line wind. You can see it very clearly coming into Dyersburg, but there's a lot of energy along this front end of this line that there could be some spin-ups that we're going to have to keep a very close eye on the velocity product tonight. Here's where some of that rotation is near Ridgely, but you notice when we get down here, it's starting to get, it's not just a straight line. You can't just, you see each one of those little bright little outputs that are coming on in here is the potential for a spin up. This is probably 70-mile-an-hour winds coming into Dyersburg. This is very bright. This is going to be some strong straight line winds, could take down trees, cause power outages. Although it may not be a tornado, this is hefty winds on the way coming on into Dyersburg, and this is what's going to eventually make its way over into Friendship, Yorkville, Gibson County here in about 30 minutes. Here's our most rotation right now, is down here right along the Mississippi River. That's this storm, which looks like it's heading into Covington right now, could be moving into Brownsville, Nutbush in about 30-45 minutes. So we've got those storms that we are watching that are tornado warned that are going to continue to move on in here to West Tennessee tonight. Look at that big kink in the line right there, northwest of Covington. We've got that little inflow notch there. We've got another notch. So again, we're not done with the tornado concerns tonight, even if this does become a line event instead of a supercell event like it was earlier. But look at all those supercells that came up. And then again, they've kind of formed into a line right now. The ones we had in West Tennessee, they were too far away from the main forcing of the cold front, I think, to produce tornadoes. I think that's one of the main reasons we got lucky. We were just a little too far away out in front of that supercell zone. But there was also, the cap was non-existent. Once the sun came out and we started to heat things up, the cap just went away, and we had so many little supercells that went up earlier that they were kind of eating each other up. That was great news. No confirmed touchdowns yet in West Tennessee. There's our line extending southwest of Memphis all the way up from the north. I'm going to take a closer look at a couple of those storms that are under the tornado warning for us here in West Tennessee, and just see if anything is jumping out to me of concern. So we'll go ahead and pull on our velocity here. Again, I know that's a lot. It looks really ugly, but most of that is just straight line winds that are coming into Dyersburg right now. So you're watching us in Dyersburg. Looks like Middle City. You got some strong winds on the way that are moving through Richwood's Big Boy Junction right now. That line extends all the way up north, but not seeing much for rotation left on that original warning near Ridgely. But I think they're leaving the tornado warning out for Dyersburg because the winds alone, and there could be a spin up right along that line. You see there's a little bit of a kink right here that could potentially try to produce a quick spin up so as it comes through. So again, get away from windows if you're in Dyersburg, even if there's not a tornado. Those are really strong winds. That wind line extending down to the south, it's getting close to Ripley. Right now, Henning, the rotation over here in Golden Lake, go back a couple of scans. That was still trying to rotate. Doesn't look like there's a tornado on the ground, but that's going to be very close to, looks like Detroit maybe. Cherry is going to be awful close to that potential tornado as it comes through. So as these storms do get a little closer to West Tennessee, we do want to remind you again about into our counties. We do want to remind you again some tornado tips, and Jordan's going to give us those right now.
All right, folks, make sure you've got multiple ways to receive weather warnings. Earlier today, the NOAA weather radio in Dyersburg was down. I can confirm it is back working. So you've got that option now if you're in Dyer County, Lake County, Obion County. TV, phone, and if you don't have it yet, get it while you've got time. Our WBBJ weather app. If you're in a vehicle, ideally get out of your vehicle and seek more substantial shelter. But if you're in a vehicle and can't get out of it, watch for trees, down power lines. Also, with this system, you're probably going to encounter some flooded roadways. So turn around, don't drown. Make sure you're with your shelter. You're inside a very sturdy building on the smallest, most central room on the lowest floor. So hallways, closets, under staircases, and make sure you're away from windows. Basements are great if you have them. If you want to have this on hand, you're going to need batteries for any electronic backup you need, whether that be your weather radio, flashlights. You'll need water, maybe some non-perishable food, first aid kit, and all of your time-sensitive medication.
All right, thanks a lot, Jordan. Jordan put together a bunch of photos of some hail that we picked up earlier that people have seen. We're going to bring you those here in a few minutes, but we want to kind of stay with this storm as it is about to move into the Dyersburg area. We do have a new tornado warning that was issued, but it's just out of West Tennessee. It's for the cell that went through Martin that we were watching for a while. Once it got out of the National Weather Service in Memphis, the National Weather Service up north, I believe that's Paducah, did issue a tornado warning on it, although it looks very similar to what it looked like when it went through Union City and just produced hail. So we'll see what goes on with that one. The rotation up here into Ridgely is going away. That's pretty good as that is starting to get eaten up along the line. But man, you got some winds coming in right now to Dyersburg. Then they're going to be approaching New Bern. I'll draw the tracker on these wind lines. Jordan, you said that the line was moving at 45 now?
No, the line Dyer County is on, I believe, is moving 60. Let me double check with the query. No, it is 50 now.
Okay, so we'll set out a tracker for 50 miles an hour on that one to give you an idea of when it could be coming into Trenton and Dyer, Rutherford. So there's a look at the timing for New Bern, Halls, Yorkville, Dyer, Trenton, 8:52. That's when we're expecting that wind line to come on in. So just to give you some time to be prepared for that, as that looks like some really intense winds on the way. Doesn't matter which radar we look at it. It's pretty intense. So kind of zoom this out a little bit further. If this line continues, give a few other communities maybe that we can get to pop up. If it continues in the same direction, that's the timing for Huntington, McKenzie, Milan, and Humboldt, 9 o'clock coming into Humboldt. So got some time to prepare right now. I know there's a couple of tornado warnings, but this is the only one I'm concerned about for producing a tornado. Looks like they're doing something with that tornado warning, either
they trimmed Haywood County out of it.
So Haywood County is now out of that tornado warning, which is good for Haywood County, but we're still watching that storm tonight. So we are seeing a lot of lightning. If you are watching us, or if you're watching in Jackson and you can look off to the west, there's one heck of a light show, which is still kind of going on with all that lightning. We've got 3,000 lightning strikes along the Mississippi River right now. So this is looking to the west of Jackson. You notice it's just been pretty continuous. Every time I look at this cam, most of the time I catch a lightning strike on it as it comes through. But this is all coming our way. We've got some major thunderstorms on the way tonight. And I still keep checking this because the Storm Prediction Center still has us under that high risk for severe weather tonight. Sometimes they'll downgrade stuff if they see something that looks different, but they're keeping us under the high risk for severe weather and the high risk for flooding tonight into tomorrow. Look at a lot of tornado warnings still, but the good news is the only confirmed one is way up into Indiana. These are all radar indicated tornado warnings now, but they're going to be moving through over the next couple of hours. We've got severe thunderstorm warnings out, which do include Gibson County now, Obion, Weakley County. We've got no tornado warnings in Gibson County, Crockett County, or Haywood County. We do still have a tornado warning for sections of Dyer County tonight, and then when you're getting over into Tipton, Lauderdale counties. So there's our storm that did produce all that hail in Martin. It's caught a tornado warning tag now as it's moving up to the north, but it looks like it's out of West Tennessee right now, but definitely some tail end rotation on that. So Union City, you got some spotty thunderstorms right now, but some heavier stuff on the way. When I look into this line for rotation, it looks pretty minimal, but that is very strong winds rolling through Dyersburg right now. And this wind line is going to be heading into Dixie in about 10 minutes, Union City here, a little after maybe 8:30, 8:35. You're going to be hit with those strong winds. There's a little bit of an interesting thing showing up there. Got this little leading edge coming out of Dyersburg. I think that's just some straight line winds that are being pushed out into Lucas Grove. And again, anywhere along this line, we're watching for possible spin-ups. This is a very powerful line, and you do notice there is a little bit of rotation west of Dyersburg, but it looks like just strong winds moving through right now. Not seeing any tornado, but you notice along the line, anytime we get those greens and the reds come together, they could spin up tornadoes very quickly with the storm energy we have. So here's our most concerning rotation right now, and I don't think there's a tornado on the ground for that either. That's over here across the Mississippi River near Ashport, Covington. You'll get in on that act. So as it continues to move through tonight, we've still got chances for rotation all the way down south of us. But the next up for us is going to be Gibson County. You're going to pick up some really strong winds here in Gibson County between I think 8:30 or 8:45 probably and about 9:15. You're going to pick up that. You're also going to get some of this action northwest of Jackson, Haywood County. I think Madison County is probably good till at least 10 o'clock. So we've probably got about 90 minutes there before it comes through. Jordan, anything that you're seeing that I'm missing to point out?
So the storm in Dyersburg is actually starting to bow out. So straight line winds are really going to start to ramp out as we get east of Dyersburg. Particularly, I'm going to zoom in right here on this little notch. It's not an inflow notch. This is where that bow echo is the strongest, right around where you would get off the highway to leaving Jackson to go to Union City. That's where 412 meets 51 and 412 merges with I-155. That is going to be some pretty strong winds. We'll pop up velocity real quick. It's not necessarily rotating, but you're going to see some very, very more than likely high wind values right here. You see this almost off-white color right there. We're going to turn off the warning polygons and pop the query on that, and we're looking at 65 mile per hour winds, and that's aloft. They may not be that strong down at the surface, but again, some strong straight line winds between Dyersburg and New Bern. New Bern, they're probably going to be on your doorstep a little within the next 10 minutes. So that's going to move from New Bern. May miss New Bern to the south. The strongest winds with that looks towards Churchton, Yorkville, mayhaps even Rutherford and Dyer farther down the line, but right now it's moving around 50 miles per hour, so we can put a track on this one area of strong wind real quick for you. and it's going to be right around, we'll go out 30 minutes, and that's going to be Churchton 8:31, the Tyson store at 8:39, and Kimmery at 8:53. Again, this is going to be near hurricane force winds, definitely tropical storm force. If you have, if you're near a window, it's probably best to get away from it right now. Of course, with everything moving into a line, we're looking at the tornado threat and the hail threat starting to go down a little bit. Not gone all the way, just a little bit. Straight line winds are going to become the primary threat as the storm merges into a line, and it's in these bowing segments like the one we see between Dyersburg and New Bern right now where the winds really start to ramp up. In fact, we already have reports of power outages in Dyersburg, and we have this update. The tornado warning for Dyer and Obion County is being allowed to expire.
All right, I think we have a camera that I can get up on Dyersburg, so I'm gonna see if I can pull that up and see if we can get that to pop up. I know there's, as you said, potential power outages there, but we'll see if we can get that one to pop up. We'll start with the UT Martin cam that we have, so I'm certain that one is going to populate right now. So we'll throw that one up first. So we'll get that. All right, whoa, it looked like we had, all right, so it's very dark. So, and just some lightning showing up. So I don't know maybe that camera got knocked down or something into Union City. So, but I'm going to find the Dyersburg cam. We'll pull that
Joel,
one.
I've got the Dyersburg camera. How about you take over on radar for a second?
All right, go ahead.
This is going to take a second to pop up.
Yeah, all right. So, well, yeah, we don't want to stay on the black screen here, so I was hoping that the camera would populate, but excuse me, it got knocked down. So, there we go. All right, tornado watch. Tornado warnings have lined up tonight. We're continuing to get those. When Jordan gets that Dyersburg cam, we'll see if we can get that pulled up and working for you. A lot of these cams tonight have already been hit with some storms, and we've lost some connectivity with some of them. We were trying to watch one earlier in Trenton because there was a reported funnel cloud, but we couldn't. We seem to have lost that one. So a couple of tornado warnings continuing tonight. A lot of winds, a lot of straight line winds on the way. We've got a tornado warning just northeast of Martin, but there's Union City. You've got some strong winds, very heavy rain, loud thunder. There's almost 900 lightning strikes just with this one storm into western Obion County. So we still do have that tornado warning down south, but again, I'm still not, this looks like almost all straight line winds, but it's coming into New Bern right now with some really strong winds, and Gibson County, you're getting ready to go. It's on the way for you tonight. There's an inflow notch. This is something we may be looking at, a potential spin up here north of New Bern. That just popped up in the last couple of radar scans, so that's something we need to watch. Here's a look at the timing from that wind line as it moves off to the east for Dyer, Trenton, Martin, Dresden. So, but you notice that little kink, that's definitely has caught my attention. But as far as what we're seeing on the velocity right now, it looks like it's just winds. But that kink is definitely something we need to watch very closely as this line comes through. So here's a look at the timing of this intense bow structure that Jordan was telling you about. East of Dyersburg as it approaches Yorkville. That's going to be moving off to the east very quickly. So here's a look at the timing of that. Dyer 8:46, Yorkville, it's coming in about 10 minutes. So very strong winds on the way up there. Here's where our area of rotation was earlier. That could impact Covington and then moving through. It looks like they've got a couple different storms merging together there. So we'll see what comes out of that here as it moves northeast. Closer to Haywood County. But several strong storms on the way tonight. Several of them are beginning to, again, try to spin and rotate as they slide on by. And storms extending all the way down southwest of Memphis. Jordan, did you get that Dyersburg camera up, or
no,
is it's not working?
I think that's where the power's out.
Okay, so that's why we're having trouble with it. Looks like we lost our Dyersburg camera. So this is, look at the lightning strike total. When I pop this on here, that's almost 4,000 lightning strikes along that line of storms in the last 10 minutes. So very, very explosive storm system on the way. Jordan's got
right across the Hatchie River.
Yeah, let's check out, see what Jordan's got on too.
So that would be where it is. A wall cloud reported by Let's see, Tipton County EMA. It's crossing the Hatchie River right now into Lauderdale County, just to the west of Highway 51. It'll pass north of Henning, probably near Ripley here in the next several minutes. Rotation very heavy on the outflow, not so much on the inbound. One of the tornado warnings was just allowed to expire. But again, it's rotating very tightly in one direction, not so much the other. But we're going to keep an eye on this as it's looking like they're going to extend that warning. I don't know how far, but I would assume this next warning is going to include most of Lauderdale County, parts of Dyer, Crockett, and Haywood County. But we'll have to wait and see what Memphis has to say about that again. Rotation looks pretty impressive compared to some of the other storms we've seen in West Tennessee. We got some blue popping up on velocity. So that's not something we've seen a lot of on the West Tennessee side today, but yes, there is a slight inflow notch just to the north of Garland. It's going to move across the Hatchie River. The rest of the storm is going to move across the Hatchie River here within the next few minutes. But of course, we're looking at storms probably going to be around for a while. But this storm in particular is going to be on our doorstep before you know it, folks. This is going to be one of those days where you're going to want to take every warning seriously. Again, they did issue a high risk 5 out of 5, and it was tornado driven. So I do believe they did add a wind risk at the very end. That would have gotten it a high risk also. But again, any severe thunderstorm, tornado warnings, both need to be taken with the utmost caution today.
All right, got some strong winds on the way for Yorkville. If you're watching us in Yorkville, just heads up. I bet you those are at least 60 miles an hour winds on the way. That includes Churchton, La Pata. It will be coming through Neboville, Cool Springs, Curry, and eventually Dyer, Rutherford, China Grove. So heads up on that. Some strong winds on the way. It looks more like straight line winds than rotation, although there is a little bit of green trying to show up on that line, but that's pretty intense winds too coming into the Cool Springs area. So it's going to set the stage back up. Here is what we got. We've got just one tornado warning left right now, but we've got multiple severe thunderstorm warnings for Martin, Dyersburg, Covington, and a brand new, I believe, severe thunderstorm warning just got issued.
We got 2 brand new severe thunderstorm warnings, and that's pretty much the entire length of Highway 51 all the way through West Tennessee. The first one includes Dyer, Gibson, Obion, Weakley, and Northern Crockett. We'll give you the specifics on that. We've got a severe thunderstorm moving northeast at 45 miles per hour for, again, this is a bare minimum severe thunderstorm warning, 60 mile per hour winds and quarter-sized hail. Radar indicated on both of those.
New tornado warning, Jordan. You see that?
Yep, they had the tornado possible tag on it and then just went and issued it. So we'll zoom in on that. Of course, the rotation is going to be just south of Trimble. The reason they pulled the trigger on that is pretty tight outbound rotation, inbound rotations there. We'll pop up the debris tracker just to see if there's anything, and there's not yet, and hopefully there's not anytime soon, but that has, it's starting to look like a line-embedded supercell. It's got that classic hook echo starting to build in.
Yeah, that is that little inflow notch area that we were watching. It's looking pretty intense. So tornado warning out. If you're, again, as I said, Cool Springs, that's where we had those really strong winds that we were talking about. Looks like they have thought it may spin up and produce a tornado. So get in your safe spot if you're in Tillman, Mason Hall, Kenton, Yorkville, Rutherford, and probably Sharon as this comes on through. So again, if there was a tornado with this one, it would be right here. This is where our rotation is, and it's going to track to the northeast. So we'll go back a couple of scans and see it went from straight line winds, and then you notice just the one scan to the next, it really started to spin right around here. So that's where we've got that spin. So I did see a little bit of rotation as well up near Martin. I'm going to take a quick look at that and see what that is. I think so. We'll see. I mean, it doesn't look like tornado, but probably some real strong winds coming in to the Martin area. So again, we've got our brand new tornado warning. We'll kind of keep a very close eye on that. Jordan, do you want to read the information on that tornado warning?
Sure. We've got a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado near Newbern, or 13 miles northeast of Dyersburg, moving northeast at 55. The radar indicated, of course, right now, but says locations impacted include Mason Hall, South Fulton, Dresden, Martin, Mount Pelia, Lapata, Latham, Cottage Grove, Ruthville, Sharon, Como, Locust Grove, Ralston, Schaffner, Rutherford, Templeton, Brundage, Terrell, Pisgah, Trimble, and Reeves.
All right, brand new tornado warning as well. So there's where the situation is for the Mason Hall tornado. We got a brand new one being issued just now south. That is for this other area near Ripley. So this does include now other sections of Gibson County. So we've got two different tornado warnings for Gibson County. Here's the brand new one. This is Crockett, Gibson, Haywood, Dyer counties. This one is for 7 miles west of Ripley, moving northeast at 60 miles an hour. It's out till 9:15. Does include Crockett, Gibson, Haywood, and Dyer County. So we'll see what we can see on the velocity on that one. So we've got our spin up near Yorkville, and then this one is the one that we've been watching for a while. So definitely two different areas of rotation. So we'll start to kind of rack this up again for you. We've got 3 tornado warnings now, 2 different ones for Gibson County. One includes Martin, another one includes the Trenton area, and then this one down to the south as well on the way. So these are loud thunderstorms, quick spin-ups. You notice each one. Look at these little, as the supercells came in, you watch how they're lining up, okay? You're getting this one after another as the line begins to catch up with them. So we've got some pretty big storms still expected tonight. Our tornado warning up here does include Kenton. So we've got this little inflow notch here, okay? The winds are being sucked in out of the southeast there. On the back side of the line, they're coming in out of the northwest. That's what creates that rotation and that possible tornado there north of Mason Hall. Our southern tornado warning, we'll get back to that here in a second. Kind of did want to show the velocity product here. Again, a little bit of a kink there. A lot of straight line winds associated with this one. No confirmed tornado on it yet, but it is going to track through Mason Hall, probably Martin and Sharon here in a little bit. So we'll be watching it. A lot of straight line winds, a little bit of a spin up trying to get going there. Looked more promising for a tornado on the reflectivity, which is showing you where we have this little inflow notch here. So this is where it's trying to produce the tornado right now, right along 69 south of Obion. We've got a little bit of spin up there as well. So multiple areas of spin up along that line. We've got multiple different inflow notches, one near Mason Hall again, and then we've got that new one down to the south. So here's roughly the timing of those winds and that potential tornado with the Newbern storm. It does include Dresden. Milan eventually could be involved in that as it comes down through. So down here we've got a lot of gusty straight line winds as well. We've got a little area of spin up here. Here's the timing of that one as it could come through. Trenton is well involved in that, and Greenfield, but definitely a potential tornado there, northwest of Yorkville also. And then there's our third one that we're watching. So this one's northwest of Henning that's coming on by. So I'm going to step off here, and I may be off the wall here for a few minutes because I need to sit down here at the computer where I can have some faster control over some of these graphics with what we have now with the 3 different tornado warnings. So let's start with our northern warning here. That's the one that is near Mason Hall. So we'll get a closer look into there. That's where we've got the rotation just west of Mason Hall, Trimble. That's an ugly looking notch. Again, right east of 69, Obion, Mason Hall. If it continues, all right, looks like we've got a brand new scan there. It's now approaching 45 between Crockett and Kenton with that one. Let's go ahead and see if we can get the velocity to match up on it to show if it's anything that we're seeing just on the reflectivity or the velocity. So I don't know if our velocity is behind, but it should be a little bit further ahead than that. So again, looking like a potential spin up there, a lot of winds. So that's with our northern storm. So down south here, we've got another tornado warning. This is for the one that's near Ripley. This one also has an inflow notch in it. We'll see if we can take a look at the velocity there inside the Ripley storm. That's down here, and that one looks like it could have a potential tornado near Glimp, west of Ripley. Go back a couple of scans on that. It's moving to the northeast, so that's going to be central Dry Hill Halls. I think it stays north of Nutbush. It'll be close to Maury City. I think it stays north of you. So if it continues the same general direction, there's a look at some of the places that could be in that. Bishop, Halls, Gates, Dry Hill. You need to keep a very close eye on that. Probably want to head to your safe spot if you were in the path of that one. So looks like we've got more severe thunderstorm warnings. I believe those are triggered for Jordan. Is that are they?
It's
tornado?
an update on an existing thunderstorm warning we have. I'll get some specifics on it, but I don't think they've changed much other than trimmed some of Arkansas out of it.
Okay, so again, we've got our 3 different tornado warnings that we're going to focus on. Velocity, so we've got the one near Mason Hall, we've got the one down here near Ripley that we're watching, and then the third one, okay, so we're down to just 2 now, so that's good. We've got warnings. The third one is for Covington, but it's an extension of the other one. So we've got 2 areas of rotation that we're watching right now. So although there's tornado warnings along a line, currently there's just 2 rotating storms right now in West Tennessee. There's another one though west of Memphis. So our northern storm here, that is south of Union City, north of Mason Hall. It's going to be very close to Martin if there was a tornado. I would say you probably want to head to your safe spot if you're in Martin right now. I'm going to put a track on this northern one as it comes through. So we'll go like this. So there's a look at the timing of some places that could be impacted by this. It's got Martin around 9 o'clock. I don't really like, I prefer this one with this rotation. So again, Martin around 9 o'clock. We've got Sedonia in there, Kenton here in about 5 minutes. So if you see your towns, you may want to head to your safe spot. It's not a confirmed tornado that we know of, but it is radar indicated, and there is still plenty of rotation right around Mason Hall. So here's our center of rotation with that one. You can see it pretty clearly here between Mason Hall and Kenton, and that is going to continue to track to the northeast. So we can kind of run this back a couple of scans. You can see the general direction of it. So possible tornado there, again, radar indicated. Down south, here's our other one. That's near Ripley. We'll get a view of the zoomed out velocity, and we'll kind of get in here a little bit. A lot of, nothing that jumps out to me tornado there, but there's plenty of rotation to keep that warning going in Ripley. So again, back to our Mason Hall storm. Jordan, you got anything that you can that I'm missing or that you're seeing?
They just chopped Dyer County out of the first tornado warning. They're still in the downstream warning for the storm with a tornado warning in Lauderdale County, but Memphis is increasingly concerned with the rotation on the storm near Mason Hall.
Yep.
They've mentioned they're watching it. We also have reports of injuries. This is the part of the storm that had tornado emergencies on it before it got eaten by the line. So this storm, albeit now that it's merged with the line, has a history of producing some damaging tornadoes.
All right, Jordan, when I'm looking at some stuff, will you check out the CC product, make sure we're not missing any damage reports, or any debris showing up when I draw this line here for people that can kind of have a general idea of when the northern storm could be showing on up for them. And then we'll draw one here for the southern line. So up north, Paris, Bradford, Dresden, Dyer, Kenton, Martin. There's a look at the potential timing for you with that northern storm. And then the southern one, which is down here, if it continues its general direction and then moves up to the northeast. Eventually, Jackson, it looks like close to around 10 o'clock. Humboldt, again, closer to 9:30. So there's a look at those. Anything at all on the debris?
No debris. However, I am picking up a hail spike near Troy. So Troy, Union City, be on the lookout for some It's not going to be large hail now that it's involved in a line segment, but definitely keep an eye out for hail. Get away from your windows. We're looking at some possible, I would guess, up to quarter, which is the severe threshold size hail with this storm. But I haven't seen any reports yet. But we are looking at a report of a wall cloud southwest of Kenton on the dire Gibson County storm.
All right, let's head back to one here. This is what we're looking at. We've got our 2 tornado warned storms right now in West Tennessee, each one clipping a section of Gibson County. The first one up to the north here, that's our area of concern north of Mason Hall. Union City, I know you're getting a hit with a pretty good storm, but I think the rotation part is going to stay south of you as it crosses 45 near Kenton. Sedonia could be very close to you. So if there was a tornado, it would be right here near Mason Hall. So you need to be in your safe spot immediately. Obviously, if you're in Mason Hall, we've told you that. Kenton, I think you need to get in your safe spot, and then Sedonia as it moves off to the east. So that's where our tornado would be if it was on the ground with that one. Our southern storm, that's this one, southwest of Dry Hill right now, just north of Ripley. That one is right along the Highway 51, and we're seeing some broad rotation with this. So it looks like the northern storm is one we need to be more concerned about. So I'm going to go focus back in on Mason Hall, the one that looks to me like the more concerning storm right now. So I'll get in on that one, and then we'll get back to the velocity. So this one near Mason Hall definitely looks like it could be a tornado trying to form there. See if I can get some smaller communities to pop up here. Again, Kenton, Sedonia. All right, we got a new scan. Man, the radar is putting out some images. So got near Kenton. It looks like if there was a rotation, the rotation's here. So it looks like it's between Kenton and Sedonia right now. I mean, look how far it jumped in one radar scan. It went from Mason Hall east of Kenton. So it's a fast-moving line of windstorms and potential tornado spin-up. So again, pretty ugly there. I think if there was a tornado on the ground, we could clearly see it though on our debris tracker, and it's not showing anything. So here's another look at the storm from the Memphis radar. It's not as intense. Man, some crazy lightning to the west of Jackson right now. But our radar up to the north. So this looks like a lot of straight line winds to me right now. So that's good because it looked a lot worse than that a couple scans ago. So hopefully it continues to improve. Again, 2 tornadoes. I mean, when you're seeing an inflow notch that large, you got to expect that it's really trying to produce a tornado, but we're just not getting that verified through velocity or our debris. I'll go ahead and pull up the debris tracker there for that area. We'll just leave it. So I think it looks pretty good. We'll see about that west of Martin there. It looks like there might be something, but I don't think that's anything to be concerned about. But we'll see what happens on the next CC scan we get to come through. All right, back to our southern tornado warning. Again, that's Ripley, Maury City. Closer look into that one. There's definitely some rotation. It's just very broad. It's a large area of rotation, which is good. We like large areas of rotation instead of smaller areas. So back to the zoom out again. We've got just the 2 storms getting very close to Gibson County right now. So they're tracking on in. They're moving north a lot than just moving east. So I mean, those polygons are drawn northeast, but some of these storms are almost racing, it seems like, more to the north. So, but some very strong winds still associated with this tornado warning. This is definitely our most dangerous storm right now, is this one, and it looks like it's coming right into Martin. So if you're in the Martin area, Sedonia, Sharon, it's tough to tell. Anywhere along this line could try to produce a tornado. So anywhere from here, go ahead and, so anywhere along this area, these storms are coming in this way. I would head to my safe spot. Could produce a tornado as it comes through, although right now it looks like some really, really strong winds. But if you're in those communities, I would take shelter. I'll go ahead and pull up some of those communities that I think that need to be shown. So that's again Sharon, Martin, Ralston, Sedonia, Gardner, Terrell, Cypress Church Creek, Northwest Tennessee Mental Health Center, Hatler's Campground Methodist Church. So any of those communities, you need to seek shelter as this possible tornado comes on through. Jordan, anything on that, CC, or we're still clear on that, right?
We're still clear for right now. It doesn't look like there's anything that jumps out to me as a debris ball. Let me match it up with velocity one more time just to double check. And I don't, I'm not seeing anything. Again, it looks like we might have a bit of a hail spike coming somewhere between Troy and Union City from the Paducah radar, and then I swapped to the Memphis radar, and you can see the spike going away from Union City. So probably still some significant, maybe not severe, but significant hail somewhere in Obion County near Union City. But in terms of the tornado warning, it doesn't look like we have anything on the ground right now. But again, we're kind of pretty far from both radars. We're a little bit closer to Paducah when we're looking at Obion Weekly, Gibson County, but right now it doesn't look too convincing that there's anything currently posing a threat.
All right, I want to head back to our Jackson cam here because it has been putting on. Every time I glance at it, the whole screen just continues to light up. I'm sure once I pull it up, it probably won't do anything, right? But no, it's just been constantly just a light show showing off in the distance. You can see some of that there behind me. I'll get out of the way. We'll see if we can pick up some lightning. So if you don't want to go outside and look at that yourself, well, it's funny. You know, I say it's been nonstop. I pull it up, and it's not there. So we don't have our UT Martin cam. We're still under a high risk tonight that hasn't been downgraded. High risk for winds and tornadoes for the remainder of the night, according to the Storm Prediction Center. And this flood threat is just getting started. A high risk for flooding. This is the first time I've ever forecasted a high flood risk event and a high risk severe thunderstorm event in the same evening for the same area. So that's a first, by the way. We still got tornado warnings firing up, and I've been doing this over 20 years. So we got confirmed tornadoes, Paducah up to the north. Our line right now is cooperating as far as producing confirmed tornadoes, but we still do have those 2 tornado warnings that are on the way, and this line of storms is coming on through and still trying to spin up in multiple locations. But up north here, we've got our inflow notch kinking the line, which is coming into Martin. Right now, again, that looks like this is all a radar indicated rotation, but if there was a tornado, it would try to spin up right there. There's definitely rotation. There's 2 pockets of rotation. That's why I said anywhere along this line. There's a potential spin up here and a potential spin up here. So that's going to be Martin down through Sharon. So if you're Martin to Sharon, along 45, you probably need to head to your safe spot. It looks like this storm has slowed up, but it's going to be there probably in about 5 minutes. And we could have a tornado here or a tornado here. Definitely some strong winds with this cell. I want to stick with this one until we get a new radar image showing the latest on the velocity on this, because I think this is our most dangerous storm, and it's beginning to move into Gibson County here. So we'll keep an eye on it as it slides on through. Again, if you're to the east of this line, you definitely need to take shelter. Again, nothing popping up on the debris tracker product. We'll get back to that. Our southern storm is looking better. There's still some, well, it was till this latest scan. There's still rotation there, I guess, west of Gates, but it really hasn't moved much at all either. So these are starting to be slow crawling storms as they move on up. So, all right, we've still got back to our velocity. We're still waiting on that new scan as it comes on in. So I guess I can try to take a look at a couple different radars on this. It's kind of a little bit of ways away from, so there's Memphis. You see a little bit of rotation up there on the Memphis one, and then up north the Paducah cam kind of gets a better look at it as it slides through. But again, it's not very clear trying to find the exact center of rotation, so that's why I'm just saying anywhere from Martin to Sharon, probably head to your safe spot. It's definitely better to be that's safe than sorry when we're dealing with a radar image that's kind of difficult to read because there's just so much action going on in that area. So we'll go back to, as it's a pretty slow moving storm compared to the ones that were earlier. So looks like once the line is caught up with the supercell, it has allowed it to kind of slow down a little bit. I think they're fighting with each other a little bit too. So, Martin, you're probably getting some really gusty southeasterly winds right now, which are drawing right up into that inflow notch, which continues to lift to the northeast. So you notice it was west of Martin here. Now it's northeast as it tries to spin on up. So there should be some rotation just west. All right, so there's our new scan. So I mean, there's multiple areas of rotation in here inside this tornado warning. So we've got the rotation here north of Martin. We've got some rotation down here. So again, anywhere from Sharon to Martin, get into your safe spot. Ugly looking storm coming through. And even if it doesn't have a tornado, again, I think these winds are really strong as it tries to spin up. So you can see the two different things you can see from this storm. The first one, again, is that the notch. That's the rotation on the velocity, but you can also see this little notch coming on in here, which continues to build back to the northwest. So basically you're getting southeasterly winds being sucked in to the line, and on the back side of the line you're getting northwesterly winds trying to push it. So it's running into the northwest, southeast winds, and that's what's creating the potential rotation there for that tornado to come down if it does. So again, we've got the two we've got a new notch showing up east of Dyersburg. So we're not really seeing a whole lot on what I would say is rotation, but the one near Halls is beginning to rotate a little bit more. So this one's getting brighter colors. This one's closer to producing a tornado now than it was about 10 minutes ago. So we're going to be watching that one pretty closely. If we do put that one back, though, you notice the general direction when it was rotating. The rotations are moving to the northeast tonight. They're not moving to the east. So any of these storms that are going to rotate, we need to watch them for more to the northeast. So I want to get a new tracker on this one, which is rotating through Halls, so that some areas in Gibson County, like Yorkville, Dyer, can be prepared for it. So if it continues to rotate, there's a look at some places: Eaton, Yorkville, Curry, Tyson Store, and Dyer. If it continues in the same direction, that's where that potential tornado would be going. So as it gets closer, you need to head into your safe spot into Yorkville and Dyer into Gibson County. So that one's a little concerning. Up north here, we've got our other storm, which looks like a lot of wind coming into Martin right now. I wish that Martin cam was working. Jordan, will you try to pull up the Martin camera on your system and see what it shows, if it'll even show up at all? We'll stay on one, or unless you want to dig into something.
We can put it on that camera, or on our camera computer. It'll just take a couple seconds to.
All right,
pull
yeah.
it up.
Why don't you just see if you can even pull it up on one and see if we can get it, because it was malfunctioning in our system, or maybe the camera got blown down. That's definitely a possibility. So here's our line. A little bit of rotation northwest of Martin. That's where that inflow notch is. But out in front of the leading edge, there are some strong winds that are coming into Martin and Sharon right now. You can see it pretty well on the radar. Tornado warned storm. Very obvious inflow notch that you can see there. And then down south now, south of Halls, that one is beginning to tighten up as well. So again, very bright colors, very strong winds. I think the rotation may have moved now Martin a little bit up to the north, the most likely place for that tornado. Down south here, it's looking more like straight line winds. So again, maybe north of Martin now, this is the area. It's really taken a long time to get radar images into the system tonight. I'm sorry, I wish they'd be faster than they're coming on in tonight, but I know there's a lot going on with the radar system. So, all right, down our southern storm, that's this one. Got the rotation near Halls right now. It's going to be very close to Friendship, I think. So if you're in Friendship, you probably need to head into your safe spot. Obviously, Halls, you are already there. Yorkville, though, Dyer, you're going to be real close to this. As that one comes through. If we get a little bit further down to the south, we're still watching a couple of storms tonight. These may be our next ones, which are going to come on in, which could impact maybe Haywood County, maybe more southern Gibson County, maybe Jackson. These are at least an hour out, though, I think, until they do that. So, but our northern stuff right now is still producing some strong storms. We are down to one tornado warning here in West Tennessee. So it looks like they pulled the Halls warning out, maybe. Oh no, there it is. Okay, we still got 2. So I don't know. Long day so far. All right, we got our line. We've got a 3rd tornado warning west of Memphis. That one is eventually going to be moving into our southern counties a little bit later, but nothing confirmed here. There's a couple of confirmed tornadoes up to the north, but that line, look at that massive storm. Looks like south of Little Rock, so we may have to watch that one later, maybe for Hardin County by 1, 2 o'clock if it continues to move in that general direction. All right, let's head over to Jordan. He's got an update on that line, I believe, coming into Union City.
So we actually have reports. We've got a barn and a shop destroyed, or a house, a barn, and a shop destroyed on Morella Road in Kenton. We also have a tree down on Highway 431, just outside of Martin. So that's the main. That's University Street in Martin, Highway 431. And then we also have a motor vehicle accident with injuries confirmed, also associated with that tree down.
Okay, so what we know is really strong winds are with that northern storm, but no reports of a tornado yet, which is good. The rotation now, possible tornado, is now moved northeast of Martin, in my opinion. I think it's more of a possible for Ruthville and Latham as it tracks on in. You notice the rotation center has been spinning to the northeast pretty quickly over the last 45 minutes. Like, we put this in a loop here. I'll slow it down slow as we can get it to go. But you notice where that inflow notch is, it's moving more to the northeast instead of straight east. So that's going to be moving into Kentucky, I think, in the next few scans. So so I like that aspect. That could be clearing on out for our area. But if you're in Ruthville, Latham, Dukedom, if you know anyone there, I think they need to be going into their safe spot. It's got to be behind a little bit, maybe, as Martin's kind of right on the edge of that too. I'd still be in my safe spot in Martin, although I think maybe the worst of the winds have passed. There still looks like there's something trying to rotate over the Martin area. So I would still stay in my safe spot in Martin. Yeah, I guess just some radars are a little behind is what we're dealing with here. So, all right, so there's the rotation near Ruthville, Latham. So, okay, so the rotation is past Martin. It's just one of the radars we were looking at was a little behind. So that includes, looks like Palmersville. I think it's going to stay just north of you, which is good. But there are a lot of winds still coming into Dresden now. Gleason, you're getting it through Sharon currently, but where the rotation is on the reflectivity, I'm not seeing a lot on the velocity, so that's actually good news. We can go in here and see if we got anything on the debris tracker. It looks like we do not, so that's also good news.
Joel, we've got the storm on the Lauderdale-Dyer County line is beginning to start to tick up in rotation the last couple of scans, so let's keep an eye on that. It's just to the south of the Folks community, near 4 Points, so it's going to cross over Highway 412 probably within the next 2 or 3 minutes near the Bonnicord community, where it'll be south of Highway 104, just east of downtown Dyersburg.
Yeah, that is moving up to the northeast pretty quickly too, Jordan, so that may impact areas just east of Dyersburg. That's some pretty significant rotation on it. If you look at this loop I got on one, you can see that it's spinning pretty quickly. So this one may try to drop a tornado here real soon. If it does, let's go ahead and put a tracker on that on one, where I think it will be going up through Yorkville, Rutherford. So again, we told you a little bit ago, if you're in those communities, you need to keep an eye on it. So here's some other places that are in the path of this if it comes through. So we're Tatumville, Lapata, Neboville, Yorkville Elementary School, Tillman, Rutherford Elementary School, and then maybe eventually Kenton again. So that's there's that rotation coming through. That one's our most likely storm to produce a tornado right now. Wouldn't you agree, Jordan?
I would.
Yeah, so that's the one we're going to need to keep a very close eye on here over the next couple of scans. So kind of stick with this one. I think it's just, it's still in Lauderdale County, correct?
It just crossed the Fork of Deer River to cross into
There
Dyer
it is.
County.
Yep, so Dyer County. Looks like it's going to stay just west of northwest of Crockett County. So if you're watching us in Friendship, I think it stays just north of you. But then right there, Tatumville, down through Eaton into western Gibson County. So you need to watch us very closely if you're in those areas with this storm. Which radar are you looking at it? Is that Memphis?
That's Memphis,
Okay.
yes. Paducah's just a little too far away.
All right, so up north here, we're starting to lose some of our inflow notch. That's good. So I think the rotation is dying down, but we've got strong winds. So I'm going to do a tracker on these winds, which are coming into Dresden, Gleason, Cottage Grove. These are going to stay upwards north. They'll eventually be coming into Paris. So there's a look at the timing for Como, Cottage Grove, Fancy Gleason for the northern line. Now down south, starting to see a pretty ugly inflow notch with our tornado warning near Friendship. So but from what I'm seeing on the reflectivity, the tornado may be even a little bit further southeast than what we're seeing on the, so it might be here near Friendship now.
It's looking like it may be trying to recycle and create a new mesocyclone, yeah.
So if you're in Friendship, Wilcox, Eaton, Mount Orange, Brazil, basically if you're in this tornado warning and you're east of Friendship, along 104 heading over into Trenton, you need to be in your safe spot. So yeah, so I'm gonna stick with this one here for a minute, and that storm up north I think is beginning to move out of our area. So kind of gonna want to see what happened on that loop, how it kind of jumped down. Okay, so there's the rotation. You can see it pretty well. So obviously you got the rotation here. I did pass through Halls. You notice that it's continuing to spin right through Friendship. And so it looks like it's going to continue possibly up through Dyer. It's going to be really close to Trenton, really close to Bradford. Again, right now, this is a radar indicated rotation. There's nothing that we've seen to confirm that there's a tornado on the ground here, but there's definitely a mesocyclone, definitely a wall cloud with this, and a lot of rotation. So there's a northern section of this, and then there's the southern section as well, which is closer to Friendship. So a big area that is rotating. You see that inflow notch down near Halls there. So a little concerned for you folks in the Friendship area. So hopefully if you're in Friendship, you're in your safe spot. There could be a tornado there on the ground. You can see that notch pretty good right there. So that's where I think the most likely place for the tornado would be, is right over Friendship currently. I think if there was a tornado on the ground though, we're going to know in the next couple of minutes as it's going through a highly populated area in Friendship, and we should get some reports to the National Weather Service. So we should know for sure before it gets up into Gibson County here in the next few minutes. Jordan, anything out of the chat?
They will be drafting a downstream tornado warning for that storm in Lauderdale, Dyer, Crockett, Gibson.
Okay, that'll include Trenton, Yorkville, Dyer, Greenfield, Bradford. You're all going to be under that tornado warning. So heads up on that.
We also we have a report out of Trimble in northeastern Dyer County of trees and power lines down. Looked like there was some rotation in the area, but no debris drop, so it's probably more just wind damage, but we won't know that until we get a survey team out there, if they even decide to send one.
Okay, so we've got a new tornado warning coming from this cell, which is in the Friendship area currently. Close look at that, a little inflow notch. So it's bearing down on you in Eaton and Wilcox. You need to be in your safe spot if you're in either one of those communities. As far as the main, all right, so there's our new tornado warning. Again, that does include Trenton, Dyer, and Bradford. So that is out until 10 o'clock. Does include Crockett, Dyer, Gibson, and Weakley counties. you are now under a tornado warning for those cities. So we'll go ahead and get another track on in here for you. We've tracked it a few times, but it's a pretty wide little area of rotation. So kind of going to come out this way. So there's a look at the timing for this one. If you're in Trenton, Bradford, you see your time there. Bradford 9:39, Trenton 9:28, Frog Jump, Brazil, Eaton, Stokes, Crockett Mills 9:10. You all are in the path of this rotating thunderstorm, which is capable of producing a tornado. So that's the latest on that one, which has been rotating, it seems like, for a while. As it, you notice it was rotating even west of the Mississippi River. Then it's spun up. It's a lot of broad rotation, Jordan. You notice, I mean, look at that massive area that is rotating. That's good. We don't want to see a real tight area, but basically this whole area is trying to rotate. You see the multiple areas of trying to spin on up. Usually that's a good sign if you can't pinpoint the exact spot of rotation, because if you can pinpoint the exact type, which looks like it's probably friendship on the worst of it, it means that it's cycling, it's trying to produce a tornado, but it may not have one on the ground. But I wouldn't take no chances. As this cluster gets closer to you into Gibson County, it's going to be jumping into Gibson County here in the next couple of minutes. Brazil, you need to head to your safe spot. Yorkville, it's going to be close. Trenton and Bradford, both also going to be very close to you as it comes on through. So a lot of strange colors here east of Friendship, but no debris drop according to what Jordan's seeing on the radar there. So that's good. Excuse me. As it tracks up to the northeast, sounds like we've got some new severe thunderstorm warnings, I believe those are, but probably not new tornado warnings. Jordan, is that right?
It's just an extension of the same severe thunderstorm warning we had for most of southwest Tennessee. It includes Lauderdale, Crockett, Haywood, Tipton, Fayette, and Shelby.
All right, there's a confirmed tornado up north of us, two of them actually, but they're just north of us, so that's good. We don't have any confirmed tornadoes right now, but we do have some storms on the way, two rotating storms. The most dangerous one clearly is this one near Brazil. Look at that inflow notch is massive. So this one is really trying to produce a tornado there as you're getting southeasterly winds sucked into this storm on the front side, which is what's creating that notch. And then behind it, you've got northwest winds. So behind the storm, front of the storm, that creates these little notches. Here's where tornadoes often form. That's when you get that classic, what we talk about, that hook echo. You get that hook, which forms from that inflow notch out of the southeast. So starting to get some thunder showing up here into Madison County as well, rumbling here at the station. It's going to get real loud for you folks again tonight as this line does come through. So we'll get back to the velocity here. It's a lot to look at, right? It almost looks like Christmas tree lights. So that's good that it's picking up a lot of rotation that isn't direct in one area. So I don't think there's a tornado on the ground there right now, but there's significant rotation, major inflow notch, and it could produce one by the time it gets into Gibson County. So up north here, I think our tornado threat is wrapping on up with that storm up into Martin. So we're going to be focusing a lot now on the Gibson County storm. Jordan?
They just issued a new tornado warning. It fills in a little triangle of northern Weakley County, and it's right as the original storm is moving out of the old polygon. But we do have some pretty tight rotation. We got some blue against some red right to the southwest of Dukedom in northern Weakley County. It's not going to be in West Tennessee for much longer, but it's definitely some of the tightest rotation we've seen all day.
Yeah, it's spun up just east of Ruthville, north of Latham. It looks like south of Dukedom, as Jordan said. That is going into Kentucky, though, in the next 10 minutes or so. But if you know anyone in the communities listed, it looks pretty rural area. North of Latham, it'll be tracking just east of Dukedom. So between Dukedom and Latham to the northeast, and then into Kentucky. So that's where that one will be going. That's, again, radar indicated tornado warning. Looks like they did extend the tornado warning as well into Palmersville, Cottage Grove. You see that? Is that also new?
No, that's the old warning, but they're just, I guess, calling it out for dukedom because dukedom is
Okay,
just excluded.
gotcha.
Oh dear, they just turned it pink.
Okay, so
let's get in on that for a little bit.
all right. So what? Check with the National Weather Service, Jordan, and see what they said about how they confirmed it, and then we'll look for it.
TDS north of Latham.
Okay, so TDS tornado debris signature. That would be on the CC. So
it's not particularly impressive, but yes, there is a small debris signature that I would definitely have pulled the trigger on that.
all right, so as Jordan said, there is a confirmed tornado here up north. That's from that inflow notch that we were watching that came through Martin that we've been talking about for a while. That's been tracking to the northeast. So looks like it finally produced a tornado. Good news for us is it looks like it produced it just in time to be passing Martin and some of our bigger cities. But there's where the tornado is, at least from the last radar scan we got, is right there. See where those bright colors are together. Go back a couple of scans, you notice that it is moving to the northeast. So it'll track east of Dukedom and then out of our area here pretty quickly, which is good news. But still south of that tornado, we've still got some very strong winds coming into Dresden, Gleason, and Cottage Grove, although it doesn't look like there's really any rotation there. All right, back down to our southern storm. Jordan's going to keep an eye on that northern one. Again, it's in a pretty rural area, and it's moving away from us out of Weakley County. So this one, though, is coming into the heart of our viewing area into Gibson County right now. It's near Eaton. So again, a lot of rotation. It's not confirmed currently, but still a dangerous storm near Eaton. You can kind of go back here a couple of scans. It is it's going to be very close to Mount Orange, Trenton, Dyer, Yorkville, Grizzard, Curry, Mount Orange. So I believe the center of rotation with this one is right here, northwest of Brazil. So we'll get a little tracker on this. And so basically this direction, there you see Trenton around 9:30. You see Curry around 9:25. I'm going to get a wider view because, again, it's kind of a large area of rotation. So there's a look for Bradford 9:42, Trenton 9:30 roughly, Brazil, Gibson Wells, Frog Jump. So it's getting very close. About time if you're in Trenton, Brazil, Dyer, Rutherford, it's going to be close to Rutherford, but Dyer, Trenton, Rutherford, probably want to head to your safe spot. You're at least going to get 60-mile-an-hour winds, even if there isn't a tornado. There's another radar's look at it. So we'll drop that down a couple of scans through Brazil. So we'll put one more tracker on it from this radar. So there you have it. So again, you see your community on there. You may want to look at getting into your safe spot. Again, this is a radar indicated tornado warning, but a lot of rotation I think is showing up there with that storm. It's definitely an ugly looking thunderstorm, even if it doesn't have a tornado on the ground with it or not. So we'll kind of put this loop back in order. You see that spin. I don't think there's a tornado right now, from what I'm seeing. When you notice it was around Friendship, it was spinning a little bit more, but there's still a ton of rotation and there's a lot of wind, and this is a dangerous storm, and I'd head to my safe spot even if the meteorologist says he's not sure and doesn't think there's a tornado on the ground, because it's an ugly storm. All right, I do want to get back up to that northern one real quick. That was confirmed, although it is moving out of our area pretty quickly. Fast moving storm. So we lost that little inflow notch that we had been watching. Looks like the rotation is already, look at how fast this moved. Okay, I set up this cam just a minute or two ago, and that's an ugly storm in Fairbanks, Boydsville, but it is moving into Kentucky and out of our viewing area. Man, I'm glad that didn't spin up when it went through Martin. So it was the same storm that just came through Martin. It did some tree damage. I think if it did produce a tornado in Martin, I think we would be aware of it by now with damage reports. But confirmed tornado still sitting right there, so you can see it. But again, this is moving into Kentucky, Fairbanks, Boydsville, and the Paducah television stations will be picking that one up. I'm certain they already are, as it's moving up to the northeast. We've got a line of gusty winds coming into Gleason, Cottage Grove on the way. We've got, I just saw another inflow notch that popped up, so I'm going to want to take a look at both of those. So we've got two little inflow notches now, one northeast of Trenton as well. It's not as well defined as the other one, but
I'm thinking the storm may be trying to cycle.
Yeah, it's got a bunch of rotation with this exact storm in several different locations. It's a tricky storm, so that's why I'm saying I would just get to my safe spot anyway. We'll take a couple of looks at the velocity here on this because there's multiple areas of rotation. It looks like one south of Yorkville. So, all right, so here's the look at the velocity. We've got a whole big area of potential rotation here. It's trying to, I mean, that whole area is rotating from Mason Hall down through Alamo. So anywhere in this, I mean, it's kind of, this is probably the most likely place for a tornado, closer to Dyer, but there's rotation near Brazil, rotation near Yorkville. So this entire area inside this tornado warning, if you're in this, Dyer, Trenton, probably Bradford, Greenfield, you got a little bit of time, Bradford, Greenfield, but if you're Trenton, Dyer, I'd be in my safe spot. This is just a really ugly scan. Again, doesn't shout out the large tornado on the ground, but some pretty strong winds, and there easily could be a spin-up tornado that the radar's even missing inside here. So pretty strong winds coming on into Trenton and Dyer. We're watching the southern section. I think it stays just north of Humboldt, but there's a storm in general tracking northeast. Let's check in with Jordan real quick. Jordan?
We've got a ham radio operator report of a funnel cloud to the southwest of Dyer with this area of it's somewhat broad rotation, but again, there's a funnel cloud reported right in here between Dyer and Yorkville, and it is tracking towards Rutherford. So Rutherford, China Grove, if you're west of Greenfield and Weakley County, start making your way to your safe space if you're not already there, folks. This is another one of those areas where we could see a quick spin up.
Yeah, so on Max 1, that you'll notice right through Friendship, heading into Dyer. That's where we've thought the most likely place of that rotation is, and you can see it pretty well using the storm relative velocity. So that is coming in right now into Dyer. So it kind of depends on what radar you look at. The Memphis radar has it pretty good. Paducah's is not. So Dyer, Rutherford, I think Rutherford's probably about time for you to get in your safe spot as well. See if I can get any other communities to show up here. So Curry, it's right on top of you. We've talked about you. Barron's Corner, Grizzard, China Grove, and Lynn. This could be on the way for you. Definitely some rotation. I mean, you can clearly see that spin up there, and it's moving to the northeast. So need to take this one seriously as it comes by. As we were talking about, I mean, there's also areas of rotation down west of Brazil, near Frog Jump. There's just bright colors sticking out all over the map, but that's the only one showing the green. So I think that one's most likely where that most likely tornado is. So hopefully we get another scan in on that one here real quick. Jordan, I'm going to have you stay on that exact scan, and when we get a new one, let me know, and we'll pop that up. So up north here again, just one last look at our tornado warned storm. It's still right on the border of Kentucky and Tennessee, so we'll still watch it, but I think it's going to move to the northeast and stay out of Henry County. But some strong winds on the way. Again, multiple areas of rotation here, moving into Gibson County. Everything so far north of Humboldt. This little area here heading into Bradford, Skullbone, looks like a lot of wind, but not much for rotation there. Our main concern for rotation showing up now close to Frog Jump according to the reflectivity. But when you're looking at it on velocity, I'm not sure it adds up completely with that. So Okay, there's a broad look at the reflectivity. So there's another area of rotation showing up now, Jordan, near Trenton. So it looks like we've got a brand new radar scan coming on in. I'll let you talk about Dyer and what you see in Trenton there.
All right, the Dyer scan, the newest scan for Dyer does show that rotation weakened pretty drastically over the last scan. Also, this new area of rotation just to the west of Trenton, just about right on top of Mount Orange. It's going to be south of Highway 104, west of 45 West, on the southwest side of Trenton. Again, these are tracking to the northeast, almost a little more north than east, but pretty close to due northeast. But we're going to keep an eye on this one. The storm's been cycling pretty frequently. It's got all the ingredients there, but it's just missing something. It's not able to get anything going.
So the Paducah cam has that rotation pretty good coming into Trenton. See that? So went right through Brazil, Maury City, Brazil, Trenton. So if you're in Trenton and Dyer, you need to be in your safe spot, I think, immediately as this is coming through. It's a ways away from the Paducah radar, but it's also a ways away from the Memphis radar. But I think the Paducah radar is actually giving us a better view of it, in my opinion, than the Memphis radar is right now. Memphis radar is giving us a lot to look at and little to focus on. So, so there's our new radar scan coming on in from Paducah on that. So both Dyer and Trenton kind of under that. I'm going to head up here and just get rid of the Memphis radar on this graphic so we can just focus in on the Paducah. It's right over Frog Jump right now. So we're going to stick with this one for another scan. If you're, again, Trenton, south of Trenton, you need to be in your safe spot. Radar indicated, no confirmed tornado, but a lot of rotation here in the Frog Jump area. That's coming on in just south of Trenton, between Trenton and Fruitland, and then tracking to the northeast, maybe near Tucker's Corner coming up, maybe Gann as it slides on by. So it is going to be crossing 45 here, probably around 9:30 in the next few minutes, as it does move just south of Trenton on the center of rotation. So there's another look at it on, this is the Memphis radar. See some bright colors in there. And then here's the Paducah radar showing you the reds, the blues, and the greens. And so general direction. So two different areas of rotation with this, one near Dyer and the one near Trenton. As you notice, the colors are a little brighter. So a little bit more concerned for southern section right now. But this is coming on into the northeast. It will be into Trenton in the next minute or two. So it's probably already there. Again, it takes a couple minutes to get the radar scan. So there's a look at it. Some strong winds on the way to Trenton, extending all the way up. We had that little spin try to come into Dyer. See that? And then we've got this little upper level spin, maybe mid-level spin coming in to Trenton currently, and then a lot of strong winds behind it. Jordan, still very little chatter from the National Weather Service on our Gibson County storm?
Not a lot. Crockett and Dyer will be trimmed out of that tornado warning, but we have some flash flooding reports out of Lake Road in Union City. Several trees down and blown transformers in Dyersburg. Power's out in Newbern, Milan. So not a lot of folks have much power left across the region.
Okay, so I believe they trimmed out some on our tornado warning?
At Dyer and Crockett.
Okay, so it's just now a Gibson County and then extreme southeastern Weakley maybe, and then Carroll County. I know they kind of cut Weakley County out of that, so I guess it's just our Carroll, Weakley County, Obion County. They cut Obion County out of it. So it's Gibson, Weakley, Carroll. That's still with that storm tonight. All right, I'm kind of going to, we'll re-rack things from the top, and then we should have another scan in Trenton coming up. Got our confirmed tornado up here to the north, still moving northeast of Martin from the storm that came through Martin. As far as West Tennessee proper, we only really have the one storm because this one now has moved out of our area. So you can see it. It's now up into Kentucky. Pretty ugly. Yikes. I'm so glad this didn't do this when it came through Martin because this is, that's an ugly one right there. You can see those bright colors. That's that confirmed tornado, which is near Harris Grove. But again, this is moving to the northeast away from us in West Tennessee. But look at the wind line coming into Cottage Grove, Gleason, but the rotation sitting just north of us, but the winds are on the way. So our got several different multiple inflow notches with this one. I think the worst is there near Trenton, but we've got this rain out in front of it, maybe helping you out from getting that storm to spin up much. Got some notches over into Bradford, but the story is not on the reflectivity. It's on the velocity product, which is here. Very bright colors heading into Trenton. Possible spin up between Dyer and Trenton right now. So this is the Memphis radar. It's got potential spin ups for Dyer and Trenton. And then here's the Paducah radar. We are still waiting on a new scan. These scans usually come in faster than this. I don't know if it's a system problem or an overload with the National Weather Service, but this has been sitting here for about 5 minutes. So we should get a new scan here from Frog Jump any minute now. So there's a look at the loop. So I think it's been about 5 minutes since we had a radar update there. So hopefully they're not running into some power problems up there in Paducah. It has been updated though on the Memphis radar. So we did get a new scan from Memphis. Still ugly rotation. China Grove, Greenfield, Bradford, I'd get in my safe spot if I was in those locations. Milan, I think it's going to be close to you. It probably stays just north of you. Milan, the area of rotation. But I was really hoping to get another look there out of Paducah before it came into Trenton, but it's got to be showing up any minute. So we'll see when it gets here. But all right, so we've got a couple different looks at it. I mean, this is all strong winds extending north of Dyer all the way down into the Humboldt area. So let's talk about some communities we haven't talked about yet as the storms are getting a little closer to the south. South of us, we've got the cells near Ripley, Covington, but none of those we've got our one severe thunderstorm warning, which is this big one, but this is the one they issued a long time ago, right, Jordan?
That one's
big old severe
thunderstorm. Just a broad.
Yeah, this is a big old severe thunderstorm warning. I just keep getting flash flood warnings. Those are popping up as well. So
does look like we may have some strong winds starting to come into western Henry County, like near Puryear, and eventually Paris, north of Paris, may get hit with some pretty strong winds. We can pull up some bright blues coming in on velocity. We'll take a quick look and see how fast that's going. That's going to be 60 miles per hour, pretty close to tropical storm force winds.
Yeah, so heads up for the Henry County. You're about to get some gusty winds on the way, but it looks like all straight line winds, right? I'm not seeing anything tornadic, but that doesn't mean that something won't spin up in that line. But yeah, those are some pretty intense colors showing up there. There appears to be a little bit of rotation, right, northeast of Palmersville, but it doesn't look like it's much of a concern. So, but we'll keep an eye on it as that line comes through. So down south, this storm is really interesting. How it's got stuff out in front of it now, firing up into Gibson and Milan. I can't really find that inflow notch is maybe here, northeast of Trenton now. So I think the storm is past Trenton, the rotation part, but we'll see if we can get that new radar scan. So all right, so it looks like, man, Paducah's radar is showing stuff all over the place, just showing up and then disappearing. So I don't know what's going on with the Paducah radar. It's got a little bit of rotation now near Humboldt, but that wasn't showing up. I'm not sure that's much to be concerned about. And remember with that rotation we had right near Trenton, it's gone from one radar scan to the next. So as I said, it's a difficult storm to track on the radar. It does have a lot of winds associated with it, so that's for sure.
Just to the west of Bradford with this new scan, looks like there's a little bit of a circulation trying to pop up. This would be between Rutherford and Bradford, and this is off of the Memphis radar. Paducah also shows it. It's not, Paducah's is a little weaker, but it's definitely trying to spin up a little something there.
All right, so yeah, if you're in, it's right on the edge of the two radars. So let me just get rid of the Paducah radar. So You get a good view out of Memphis. So, yeah, Bradford, China Grove, Rutherford. I mean, you can see it kind of on both of them. So on Max 1, there's the radar out of Memphis, and then this is Paducah. There was, so you got these little 2 spots there, Lane View, Barron's Corner. So got 2 different little areas are on the way. Bradford, Lynn, you need to be in your safe spot. Again, nothing that jumps out says tornado, but this storm is really trying to do something. It just doesn't really know what it wants to do because it's trying to do things everywhere instead of focusing all of its energy into one spot. So again, a lot of winds, a lot of little areas trying to spin up. Wouldn't be surprised at all if it did produce a little tornado or a quick spin up tornado. But all right, so there's a couple different areas looking at them on a different radar that are heading into Bradford and Lynn. So
we've got a new tornado warning for northern Henry County.
All right, that's for where those really strong winds were that you were just pointing out?
Right, looks like there's a circulation right along the state line between Hazel and Purr. You're about to cross Highway 641.
All right, so we'll get the latest on that one up into Henry County, and then we'll get real quick back to Bradford and Lynn as that little area of rotation continues to spin up. So new tornado warning. It does include, as you said, extreme or northern Henry County. It does not include Paris in this, but it does Cottage Grove, Puryear, Foundry Hill, Whitlock. So that's our newest tornado warning. That is out until 10 p.m. tonight. So it only includes Henry County for us. So we'll see if we can find some velocity in there. Yeah, that's where I was showing you northeast of Palmersville, I think, when I pointed that little area of rotation. I think that's what that is, what they issued it for, or it could be this too, right here.
That's what I initially thought it was when I saw it.
So it's probably that. This is probably nothing. So we've got, but they dropped it pretty far south. You know, I'm surprised they included so much of Henry County. But regardless, you've got strong winds coming into Henry County, into Paris. This is all going to be real strong winds on the way coming through. So kind of give you a timing there. If you're in Henry County of when you're going to be impacted, Johnson Park. So Puryear, it's going to be there any minute. So, but if there was a tornado on that one, Puryear, you need to be in your safe spot as well as Hazel. It'd be for that little spin up area right there that just popped up on the radar. So we'll keep an eye on it. All right, now back down to all right, we should be getting a new scan here any minute on this. If we can get it out of, if we can get it out of Paducah's radar here. Here's Memphis's. So we got a couple different, we got storm relative velocity showing it on the Memphis radar, and then velocity 2. So again, it's just very difficult to tell the exact area of rotation because so much of this storm is trying to spin up. I'd definitely like to be, more specific and say this is the exact spot, but when it's in so many different areas showing up on the potential rotation. But China Grove, Bradford, Greenfield, Kimmery, Lynn, Skullbone, Sharon, these are all potential areas that could be impacted by the storm if it comes through. Anything from the National Weather Service on the tornado warning there in Gibson County? Are they just
not lately? I can tell you that it's starting to ingest that cell that popped out ahead of it near Milan. So that's one possible source of it, sort of looking like it's starting to fall apart a little bit. And there's another cell behind, or well, rather in front of that cell in Milan that's getting ingested near Three-Way in North Madison County. And then there's another cell just on the other side of Jackson. So I think that storm's going to struggle to get anything going for a while now that we're starting to see some storms ahead of the line getting ingested by the line.
Yeah, and again, watching that little speck of blue showing up near Humboldt, I'm not really seeing that at all on on the Memphis radar, so I don't think it's a big deal. But we'll go ahead and pull up the Memphis radar. It's not even showing up on the, so I just think it was a problem with the Paducah radar. Paducah radar has been misbehaving a little bit. All right, so there's our new image out of Paducah, showing some rotation. I wouldn't worry about that near Milan, a little bit near Bradford. So I think things are looking pretty good for that Gibson County storm right now, as far as it producing a tornado. But again, there's still some colors showing up indicating rotation, just nothing overly too tight. So that storm's even losing lightning, isn't it? It's kind of just weakening in general altogether.
It's still got, I'm going to zoom in close, it's still got 300 strikes, so it's not exactly, I wouldn't say it's weakening, but it's definitely, it's got some lightning in there for sure.
All right, so it's still a potent storm, just not tornadic, we don't think, at this moment. So, but there is still storms on the way tonight that are lining up to the south. But honestly, things are looking a lot better now than they were a couple hours ago, Jordan.
This is the 100%. I agree. We saw those confirmed tornadoes in Arkansas. Joel and I were preparing for the worst and hoping for the best. And well, if this is what we're working with, this is about the best case scenario for a day where you get a 5 out of 5.
Yeah, I mean, we missed out on the morning stuff. The little supercells are eating each other up, and as soon as the significant storms hit the Mississippi River, the line caught up behind them. So I'm glad that wasn't 50 miles further east into West Tennessee. So, but unfortunately, there were a lot of people not so lucky into Arkansas tonight and Missouri that were hit. We've got some reports of some towns that were pretty devastated by some tornadoes, just not here in West Tennessee. So again, another, so far, fingers crossed, but it's been a pretty good night for us considering the setup that we had. I don't want people to, keep hearing us talk about these severe thunderstorm threats, and then here in West Tennessee we don't get hit, and our neighbors to the west get hit, and you think that we're just crying wolf. I mean, there was a big high area. It was from Jackson over into central Arkansas. Not everyone usually in the high risk gets hit, but some places in there almost always do. And that's where the worst supercells were. We've kind of had dodged two different bullets. We had the first one, which was all those little individual supercells, which ate each other up. And then the second ones, as soon as they got to the Mississippi River, got caught up with that line. So I think we're going to have to focus in tomorrow. There's going to be another severe storm threat for Thursday. There's another severe storm threat for Friday. There's another severe storm threat coming in for Saturday. And then on top of that, then we've got that flood threat because the storms are going to stall out. We got potential flooding where this line's going to stall out, and it's going to continue for a while, for maybe 4 days. Still, the National Weather Service is calling it a generational flooding event for some. What that means is some places will see their worst flooding in about 25 years. That doesn't mean everyone's going to get that type of flooding. Where that line sets up, some people will have their highest rain amounts in a 3 to 4 day period that they've seen in 25 years. So that's what that means when they say a generational flood event. Most of those storms I'm seeing are really weakening, even near Covington. At one near Memphis is still severe thunderstorm warned, but things are improving pretty quickly.
A few minutes ago we were still well over 4,000 lightning strikes, and we're down to 1,800. So we're doing pretty well so far, folks. It looks like we're on the downswing. Of course, we do want to maybe be aware in case the low-level jet decides to ramp up farther southwest than forecast models were hinting at, but right now we're doing pretty all right.
Yeah, so we've got our tornado warning out till 10 p.m. That's another 17 minutes. I assume that they're going to keep this warning out till 10 o'clock. I'm not sure if they're going to extend it or not. This one up to the northeast of us is also out till 10 p.m. So at the current moment, there are no tornado warnings that go out past 10 p.m. Definitely scary radar image there in Perrier. It looks like a possible tornado north of Foundry Hill. So definitely need to be in your safe spot as that one's coming through. Looks like it is going to pass close to Paris Landing. So Paris Landing State Park, right there along the Kentucky Lake area. Probably need to head into your spot there. I think it stays north of Porter Count, north of Elkhorn. So it's basically moving due east, it looks like now. So that's right over here is the Paris Landing State Park. So
we've got a bit of a drop on correlation coefficient, our debris tracker, just to the east of per year. But with what I'm seeing on reflectivity and velocity, it looks to be a bit ahead of where the circulation is.
all right. Well, if the radars are lining up with times, you know, the way they've been popping up. So yeah, so possible tornado there on the ground, but we'll see. We're waiting on the national. Yeah, you go back a couple of scans maybe. We definitely need to see one more scan before we could say that was a radar confirmed tornado. So back to Gibson County. I mean, it really kind of fell apart quickly. That storm was very intense, and then some little weaker ones started popping out in front of it, and then lost a lot of its own. But I mean, we turn on the lightning, it's still a pretty potent storm. There's still a lot of lightning with it. There's another storm behind it. That one is now coming into Friendship, Brazil, Alamo, but it doesn't look like a severe thunderstorm. Neither one of these currently look like a severe thunderstorm. The highest rain or the heaviest rain, maybe some small hail in Bradford, between Bradford and Lynn. Pop on the velocity down there, and nothing jumps out as that's the Paducah radar. Looks pretty good. We'll check out the Memphis radar in the same area. Looks pretty good. So again, still some gusty winds. Maybe we'll see what's happening down here near Milan. Looks like there's a little bit of green there. Maybe worth watching this for another scan. So we'll see. Again, that's a little bit of rotation. So we'll stick with this little spin near Milan here for another radar scan and keep an eye on it. Just make sure we're covered tonight with anything that does try to spin up. So looks like north of Atwood, a little area that we need to watch. Southeast of Bradford, I think this is still associated with that same little cluster of rotating little areas inside that thunderstorm that we've been watching. But it is just out of here's the tornado warning polygon. So you notice it's still kind of into that tornado warned area, just northwest of Atwood. So we'll see what it looks like when we get the next scan. It'll be probably tracks just north of Macklemoresville. I think it'll be north of 77, but it will develop over 79 and probably stays north of Huntington as well. It's going to be close as it moves off to the east. Again, just a small area of rotation that we're picking up on the Memphis radar. No confirmed tornadoes here in West Tennessee. No confirmed tornadoes yet of anywhere in our viewing area. But there has been a lot of tornadoes tonight out for some of our neighbors again. So doesn't mean we won't get some tonight. Fingers crossed. Probably shouldn't jinx herself, right? And even talk about it while things are still going good. But we'll see. Okay, little rotation northwest of Atwood, southeast of Bradford. We should get a new scan on that. National Weather Service isn't saying anything about that little area of rotation, I assume, north of Atwood.
No, in fact, they haven't been talking much at all. Last update we have from them was the tornado warning they issued for Henry County, just that corner of Henry County that included per year, and we've been, the rest of chat's been nothing but reports. We've got flooding in Covington, near downtown Covington. We've got roof damage in Martin, a shed destroyed in Martin with downed power lines, and a house in Oakland in Fayette County struck by lightning.
Okay, so a lot of at least minor storm damage here in West Tennessee compared to just west of the Mississippi River. Still looking for some potential rotations in this. Okay, so we did get a new scan near Hollyleaf. So that's just right on the edge of the tornado warning. So we may see this tornado warning extended. We might not. Could go either way. The way things are going, I think they'll reissue it for that area there you see north of Atwood. Still some rotation there. I'll go back a couple of scans. That's the rotation that went through Trenton. And we'll look at it on the Memphis radar. That's the rotation that went just northwest of Humboldt, between Humboldt and Trenton. Just kind of riding right along the... But you'll notice we've had green show up before. See that north of Trenton? That didn't produce a tornado. That was at 9:30, about 20 minutes ago. Now we've got a little bit of green here. So just because the green's showing up doesn't mean there's a tornado on the ground near Hollyleaf, but definitely some rotation, and we'll need to watch it. So we'll stay on this. We should get another scan here in a minute. And then since it's out of the polygon, there may be a sign that the National Weather Service may not reissue that tornado warning. But we'll see what they go ahead and decide to do with it here in the next few minutes. Again, if you're noticing, you're watching Huntington, say, what is that purple rain? That's just what we call range folding. It's just some of the outer extensions of where the radar will go. It's just kind of bad data. So it's nothing, no purple rain coming down. So a little bit of rotation near Tresvent. And we'll see what the next one does as it gets closer to McKenzie and Huntington as it comes through. Still a little bit of gusty winds, I think, north of Trenton as it's coming on by. All right, so they went with a severe thunderstorm warning. It looks like we'll see who all that includes.
That is a pretty big polygon, includes most of northwest Tennessee, eastern Dyer, northeastern Lauderdale, northern Crockett, all of Gibson, most of Carroll, Weakley, Henry, and western Benton County.
All right, that's this you see here, severe thunderstorm warning out for Benton, Carroll, Henry, and Weakley counties. Not a tornado warning, but a severe thunderstorm warning. So I think that means they're probably going to allow the tornado warning to expire. If there are no tornado warnings active at 10 o'clock, we are going to run our 10 p.m. news here at WBBJ. So we'll still have, obviously, weather reports during that newscast. But if we don't have any tornado warnings that are active, we're going to start our newscast here at WBBJ. Jordan, I'm going to have you take over a little bit on Max 2, track these storms, okay? Because I'm going to have to get some graphics ready for the 10 p.m. news, so we're ready to go on that, all right? If anything bad jumps out, I'll come back on in, but I'm going to send it over to Jordan right now.
All right. Folks, it looks like we're going to be doing okay, at least for the next several minutes. This storm that was rotating pretty consistently has ingested a couple of cells. It's now starting to get eaten by the line. The line's catching up, which is a good thing. It means the tornado threat will start to drop. We have a new alert coming in. Let me check the Weather Service chat. That is a flash flood warning coming in for Dyer, Lauderdale, and Tipton counties in West Tennessee. Also, that northern Henry County, your tornado warning is slated to expire at 10:02. We don't have any word on the current tornado warning in Dyer and Weakley County, or Gibson and Weakley County, rather. I would assume they're going to allow that to expire. There's not really much in the way of rotation. There is some broad rotation between Greenfield and Bradford, and again between Bradford and Tresvent, but neither of those are jumping out at me as dangerous rotation. There's another just outside of the warning polygon, southwest of Gleason. Again, not really jumping out at me as tornadic rotation, but we'll keep an eye on this. Of course, these are linear. Now that we've moved into a linear mode, we're out of the supercell mode. These tornadoes, if they pop up, they're going to pop up quickly, and they're likely going to be hard to catch on a Doppler radar because they'll spin up, and they'll go away just as quickly either direction. But we don't have anything new from the Weather Service coming in just yet. But we've still got that warning's going to be out for the next 7 minutes. Actually, both of our warnings are going to be out for the next 7 minutes. Again, we'll have severe thunderstorm warnings in their places. We can zoom in and get you the specifics on all of them, but I don't believe any of them have tornado possible tags on them, but we'll get you that data real quick. We'll click on the. For some reason, it's not letting me query warnings, but we'll just go on without it. I can pull it up from the Weather Service chat, and we'll have the severe thunderstorm warning text pulled up right here. It's for 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-sized hail. This is for the large polygon that includes most of northwest Tennessee. We've got radar-indicated 1-inch hail, so that's quarter-sized hail, and radar-indicated wind gusts of 60 miles per hour. That is the new warning that just came out that includes all of northwest Tennessee, and we have confirmation from the Weather Service that tornado warning for Gibson and Weakley will be expiring at 10 o'clock.
All right, that's great news there. That means we'll be doing our news coming up here at 10 o'clock unless a new something pops on up. I do want, if you're on, yeah, you're still on Max 2 with Jordan, so I'll let you stay on that, Jordan. We do have some updates, though, coming up tonight at 10 on the storm threat for Thursday, the storm threat for Friday, and we also have a storm threat on Saturday. So we've got 3 different severe thunderstorm risks on the way, additional besides tonight, plus we got the flood threat. So we'll let Jordan do one more kind of tour around on the radar, and then we will get our newscast here started coming up at the top of the hour.
All right, so we have our one warning in Henry County that will be allowed to expire at 10 o'clock. That includes northern Henry County. That storm has been ingested by the line. No noticeable, discernible rotation there. Our other storm in Gibson County and Weakley County has ingested several cells and is beginning to show signs of falling apart, rather. We're down to, well, we'll take a zoom out real quick of all of West Tennessee. A few moments ago, we were up to 1,800 lightning strikes. You saw that first scan. We were down to 1,200. Now we'll zoom in back to our Gibson County storm, and we're down to this storm alone having 600, which is more than it had earlier, but also has quite a bit of convective interference. A lot of these storms colliding all at once create, lightning is just, it's just a bigger version of you rubbing your feet on carpet and then touching a doorknob, just on a much bigger scale again. So all these storms colliding creates a lot of friction. So all that static electricity's got to go somewhere, and usually it chooses another cloud or the ground. We've got Memphis reports a 54-mile-per-hour wind gust. That was in Midtown Memphis. We're looking at some other reports. Again, we haven't gotten very many in the last few minutes, but one house in Fayette County struck by lightning, several houses, sheds in Martin damaged, power lines damaged all over West Tennessee. We've got power lines down in Dyer County, Weakley County, Gibson County. New Bern has power outages. Dyersburg has power outages. Milan has power outages. A lot of these places got hit with some pretty strong winds tonight. Of course, that was half of the threat today, being straight line winds, the other being tornadoes. And we seem to have mostly gotten away with the tornado threat. But again, straight line winds are going to do just as much, just a little different way.
Jordan, for those of you that have watched us for a while and you're just learning a little bit about Jordan, Jordan, why don't, for the kids that are been watching our feed that are really interested in meteorology, why don't you tell them where you went to school?
All right, if you're watching and you want to know where I went to school, I went to the University of Tennessee at Martin, got my Bachelor's of Science in Geoscience with a concentration in meteorology. I did take the scenic route. It took me 6 years to do it, but that's because I wasn't always a meteorology major. So any kids that are interested in wanting to do meteorology, you got a good school here in town and or in West Tennessee. So I know a lot of people are very interested in this because the weather's been pretty insane for a while, and just know that you're in good hands. We're blessed to have
somebody right out of school is qualified as Jordan to do this job. So Jordan, one more last tour before we start the news.